Hello and welcome to Yes, You Are Brave. This is a podcast where we're going to set off on a journey together to find and build our brave, where we explore all the ways that you have been brave and all the ways that you can be brave again. Because even though we may have forgotten or we may have fallen out of practice, we're all brave. And I'm on a mission to prove it and help you believe that yes, you are brave. Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of Yes, You Are Brave. I'm Pawnee, your host. Super duper excited that you are here. Let's go ahead and talk some brave, shall we? Let's. All right, so today I want to talk, it's a little bit different than you might expect. But of course, if you've been listening for a while, you know that a lot of them are not what you'd expect for brave. But today I want to talk about being brave enough to choose to be a peacemaker. Okay, so what do I mean by peacemaker? And what exactly are we talking about here? Because I know that sometimes words like that, they seem like, oh, wait, that's kind of a word we use in church. But I wanted to kind of explore this a little bit and talk a little bit about ways that we can be a peacemaker, how that can help our lives be better, stuff like that. So the first thing that I did is I was thinking about it. I had an idea of how I wanted this to go. But I decided to go to a trusty dictionary. And there's a couple versions, definitions of a peacemaker. One of them is a person who brings about peace by reconciling adversaries. And then there's also a person who tries to stop people from arguing or fighting. And then this last one, this is the one I want to focus on, okay? When we talk about being a peacemaker, someone who brings about peace. So if we are being a peacemaker and we choose to be a peacemaker in our life, we choose to be somebody who brings about peace. Now, how do we do that? You're like, yeah, that's cool, Pawnee. Like, I would love to be a peacemaker. I'd love to be a person that brings peace. But how do we do that? Especially in the world where it is so crazy and so contentious and so all of the things. How do we actually get to a point where we can be a peacemaker and we can bring about peace? So I have a few ideas and we're going to focus on that particular part of it for this episode. Okay. Now, a lot of this comes from, I am back working with teenagers at the moment. And while a lot of them come from very, very contentious backgrounds, very, very traumatic lives, they still seem like super committed to finding the drama. Like they're always looking for the gossip. They're always looking for the drama. And it's been like this, I feel like, in every setting that I've worked with teenagers. They're just all about the drama. So kind of looking at it that way, what if we stopped looking for conflict? I remember sitting at work one day not too long ago, and one of the kids was going on about something, and I just thought, you are just looking for reasons to be upset. I wasn't really involved with what was going on. It was kind of like outside of my office and stuff. But I remember having that thought, like, what if we stopped looking for reasons to be upset? What if we stopped looking for conflict? Conflict is going to find us, I feel like, no matter what. But why don't we stop looking for it? Why don't we stop inviting it in every chance we get and just stop looking for it? You know, why do we have to be always looking for conflict? Why are we always looking for a fight? Is that necessary? I would say that it's not. We don't have to be looking for a fight. We don't have to be conflicted all of the time. Just stop looking for it. Next thing, what if we bring peace into our own hearts and lives first and foremost? Now, if we want to be a person that is going to bring about peace, I don't think that we can really do that on a large scale until we have done it on a small scale first, right? We don't trust people to do big things until they have shown us by the little things that they've done that they are actually capable of doing them, right? We have to be able to do the small things. We have to be able to make peace on a smaller level. More specifically, we have to be able to have peace inside of ourselves in order to make a difference elsewhere. So if we first and foremost decide that I want peace in my life and in myself, and I work on that, then how different would the world be if everybody decided to make peace in their own hearts first? And then you think, oh, well, that's silly. That's not going to make a difference. But isn't it? Think about that for a minute. What kind of impact could you have if you were at peace with yourself? If you weren't looking for the conflicts? We can make a big difference in this world. We can bring about a lot of peace. And the first step to doing that is making peace in our own lives, finding peace, and then reaching outward. We start with us, and then we just start expanding and helping other people find that peace as well. Next question. What if we were brave enough to learn how to politely disagree? There is a weird sentiment floating around right now that if you don't agree with somebody, that you don't like them, or you think that they're a bad person, or there's this idea that like somebody to understand you or to love you or to whatever has to completely agree with you. And we're really awful at the moment as a society about disagreements, right? I don't have to agree with the way that you're living your life. You don't have to agree with the way that I'm living mine. I don't have to like your hair color or your haircut or your clothes. It doesn't really matter. I don't have to agree with you on everything, okay? We don't have to agree on what pizza toppings are different or if pineapple belongs on pizza, okay? It doesn't really matter. We can politely disagree. It doesn't have to be a fight, okay? Along those lines, how would our lives improve if we let go of the fight? If we learn how to politely disagree and say, you know what, we're going to agree to disagree. I don't agree with you, but I see where you're coming from. I still don't agree. That's totally fine. If we stopped holding on to the fight, if we were stopped being so committed to the struggle, how would our lives change? What kind of impact could we have on the world if as one person, then two, then four, then 100 stopped looking for the fight and learned to just disagree politely? Because people throughout the history of forever have disagreed on things. And it's when they have learned to disagree politely, right? To agree to disagree, that they were able to not have these huge conflicts, to not tear the world apart with war and fighting. We can have peace in this world if we stop looking for the fight. So my challenge for you this week is to be someone who brings about peace by not starting conflict, right? We don't have to be, if you're the kind of person that's like, I can't convince people to reconcile. I can't help people stop arguing or stop fighting. Well, maybe that's not your set of strengths, but we can be peacemakers by not starting conflict in the first place, by not fighting, by not reaching for contention, by not insisting that there always be a fight. That is a magnificent way to be a peacemaker. Just refuse to be in the fight. Refuse to be in the fights that don't matter. The fights that are just fights for the sake of fighting. There are definitely things that are worth fighting for, and please go continue to fight for those. But if there are things that don't matter, or if there's people are fighting just to be fighting, those are not important and we don't need to attend those. So last few little suggestions that I have for you is to stop attending every argument you're invited to. You don't have to argue. You don't have to fight with people. You don't have to. Don't fight over every little thing. Then when you do need to fight, it will be more powerful, will be more impactful. Okay? But you don't have to attend every argument that you are invited to. So stop attending every argument you're invited to. Next is to stop blaming other people for our problems. And I do this sometimes too. We got to own our own problems. We got to own our own struggles and realize that a lot of times what happens in our life is just a consequence, a natural consequence of the choices that we have made. That's the way it works in a lot of times. So we got to stop blaming other people for our problems. We also have to stop expecting others to fix your problems. It's time to be an adult, own our problems, and take on the responsibility of fixing our problems. Because maybe they're not your fault. Maybe maybe some things have happened to you that should not have happened. And those are not your fault, and they're not your you didn't deserve them, any of those things, but you are now responsible for you, and you get to You can't expect other people to fix your problems. And if other people try to fix your problems, it's not going to work until you decide that you're ready to fix them. There's going to be no lasting solution. The last thing is to stop waiting for someone to come save you. This is one that I don't love, to be perfectly honest. I would really love it if somebody came up and just saved me from my own problems and my own self. But you got to stop waiting for somebody else to come save you. It's like you can't expect other people to fix your problems. You got to get up and you got to save yourself. You got to be willing to do the work for you because you matter. Okay? And you can have such a beautiful, bright, wonderful impact on this world by being a peacemaker. If you choose to be somebody who brings about peace. And that doesn't have to be in big, crazy, on a worldwide stage, bringing countries back together, those type of things. Most of us are not going to ever be in that kind of a situation, but you can make peace with yourself. You can make peace with those around you. You can learn to stop fighting just for the sake of fighting, and arguing for the sake of arguing, and reaching for the conflict. Find peace, make peace with yourself, those around you. Start spreading that a little bit at a time. If we all do a little bit, then guess what? It's going to spread like you wouldn't believe. There will be more peace and more happiness and more joy in this world because of it. That is my challenge for you this week, is to choose to be a peacemaker. Choose the way of the peacemaker by choosing to be someone who brings peace, starting with being someone who is at peace. You've got to make peace with yourself and the things in your life, even if you don't love them. You can do this. You are brave enough to be a peacemaker. You are. Remember that you are loved, that I am rooting for you, and that you can do anything you set your mind to. And that sometimes peace means you've got to reach for brave. Peace takes courage sometimes. It's different, but you can do it. You're amazing. I love you. I'm rooting for you. Remember that, yes, you are brave enough to be a peacemaker. Have a fantastic day.
Thanks for listening, and if you enjoyed what you've heard today, please leave a review down below and share this with anyone that you feel like could use a little more brave in their life. And if you'd like to follow more of my journey to be brave, you can follow me on social media and link down below. Have a fantastic day, and don't forget to be brave.